Okay, so this is our next video on the World Religions Unit. And in this video, we're going to talk about religions of India. And we're going to look at two religions of India. We're going to look at Hinduism, and we're going to look at a successor religion, one that grows up alongside Hinduism, called Jainism. So we're going to look at these two religions briefly in this video. So we've already kind of touched on Hinduism. Hinduism is the religious basis for the caste system. And so, just to refresh our memories, the caste system was this social hierarchy in India that helped to maintain order without a strong centralized government. So, if you remember, this looks like other social hierarchies we've dealt with, but the Indian one looks like this. So the priests are on top, followed by the warriors or the soldiers. Beneath them are the merchants and landowners. And beneath them are the peasants and other workers. And if you remember, when we talked about this the last time, this is what maintains social order. Because of reincarnation. So essentially, without going too deep into Hindu belief, if you follow the rules of your caste, you will be reincarnated as a higher caste person. So it's likely that if you follow the rules of being a merchant and you do that well enough for enough lifetimes, you will be reincarnated as a warrior. So, kind of thinking about this very broadly, following the rules gets you points or karma, and the more karma you have, the higher you can be reincarnated. And the same is true the other way. If you lose karma, you can be dropped down the caste system to maybe even have to have a timeout from being a person, and you might end up as an animal for a few lifetimes. So you may have to have a timeout, and you might end up as an animal. Now, what I'd like to do here is kind of talk about some of the spiritual beliefs of Hinduism and how this helped to keep order in India. So the main text of Hinduism is called the Bhagavad Gita. So the Bhagavad Gita is an epic poem that basically describes the caste system and other main spiritual beliefs of Hinduism. And the story is one between Arjuna, who is a soldier, and his driver, who is actually the god Krishna, but Arjuna doesn't know that. So they're having a discussion about war because he's being driven to the war, he's being driven to battle, and he's kind of questioning whether or not he could actually do it and the point of war. So he's having this long discussion about war with his driver, and eventually he comes to the conclusion that it's his duty as a soldier to fight in wars. And even if he doesn't really like doing this, it's his social responsibility to carry out his role. And this is the same that would go towards any member of the caste system. So anybody in the caste system would also have to follow their duties. It's what society requires of them. Now, the Bhagavad Gita is actually a part of a larger epic poem, and there are a couple of important epic poems in Hindu religion. The Mahabharata and the Ramayana. These are also epic poems. And they highlight a number of topics within Hinduism. They also reinforce a lot of patriarchal ideas. So they show women as kind of weak-willed and needing men to take care of them, and stories of that nature. So it also reinforces a lot of these social ideas present in India. So let's briefly mention some of the main ideas of Hinduism outside of the caste system. So maybe the most important one of these is Dharma. So Dharma is the idea that you have to be obedient to the laws, obedient to moral and religious law. So it is the duty of everyone to follow the caste system. Another important Hindu ethical idea is artha. Artha means, or it deals with honest prosperity. So make money, but do it honestly. And then finally, kama, which is about the enjoyment of pleasure. So follow the rules according to the caste system, make money, again, according to your role in the caste system, and then enjoy the pleasures of your role in society. And if you do all of that long enough, you will achieve moksha, which is the end of the reincarnation cycle. And that's the point of all of this. You don't want to be reincarnated. You would rather stop that process and then you go to the equivalent of heaven, which is being one with the universe. So your soul joins the universe instead of being put back into the cycle of reincarnation. Now, over time, as Hindus interacted with people of other faiths, the monotheism influences the polytheistic Hinduism. And so what we'll start to see are what are called devotional cults. So Hinduism has, depending on what tradition you look at, dozens of gods. But what a devotional cult does is it acknowledges other gods, but focuses on one in particular. So you're kind of taking a polytheistic religion and making it more monotheistic. It's still polytheistic, but you're making it look more monotheistic. Now, this is fine, and many Hindus followed this. Even if you were at the bottom of the social hierarchy, you still followed it because it was the prevalent religion, and that's just what you did. But there were challenges to this social order that arose through other religions. So we're going to briefly look at the religion of Jainism. Now, Jainism has one thing going for it that makes it a popular alternative to Hinduism. So this was an alternative to Hinduism, and it was popular because it did not recognize the caste system. So the caste system did not exist if you were a Jainist. So everyone in the Jainist religion is seen as equal. So here is where Jainism comes from. So a rich nobleman kind of loses his, his interest in being rich and comfortable, and he seeks out something more. So he leaves his life to find spiritual enlightenment. So he feels like his life at the moment is not spiritually fulfilling. So he goes out into the world to find the thing that he's missing, to find the missing piece in his soul. He's got the money, he's got the comfort, but he feels like he needs more than that. So he becomes a monk and lives an ascetic lifestyle. So this word ascetic means that he gives up material goods. So he doesn't have any possessions. He gives that stuff up. Typical monk life. He doesn't have a lot of material goods. He gives it up for spiritual well-being. Now, the central idea of Jainism is the idea of ahimsa. Ahimsa is the idea of non-violence. Jainists believe that all living things have a soul. All living things have a soul. So to be a real Jainist, to follow this to the letter, Jainists are all vegan. Jainists are often depicted nude because, one, they don't own anything, and two, the process of making clothes could kill plants or animals, and so it's better to just not wear anything. And they're often depicted with a broom sweeping the dirt in front of them so as not to step on anything living. So these people are vegan, and they have to be a very specific type of vegan. So, for instance, they can't eat roots, like they couldn't eat a potato or a head of lettuce because that pretty much kills the plant. So, Jainist vegans can only eat certain types of fruits and vegetables. So they could eat fruits that don't kill the plant. So they could eat apples and oranges, stuff that comes off of a tree. That's not going to kill the plant. In fact, the plant wants you to eat the apple or the orange such that the seeds can be put out and planted. So they can only eat very certain types of food that if you eat it, it wouldn't kill the animal or the plant. Now, this is a very difficult life. It's difficult to live this way. So what most Jainists do, try to live a non-violent life and support Jainist monks who live the religion completely. So a Jainist monk who is actively doing this and doing all of the rules of Jainism really can't do anything to support themselves, because that would require often doing something that would commit some level of violence to a living thing. So what most Jainists do is they just follow some of the rules. They try to live non-violently. They try to eat as little animal or plant products that are against their rules, and they support the monks who are living the religion completely. But remember, the point of this religion is to get out of the caste system, because the caste system was very, very restrictive. It was very rigid. Jainism is egalitarian. Everybody who's a Jainist is pretty much equal within the religion. And so people would choose to do this to get out of the practice of the caste system. Okay, so I'm going to stop there. The next video we do will be about the other more well-known challenger to Hinduism. It's going to sound very similar to Jainism. It's called Buddhism. So the next video we talk about will be about Buddhism and how it also tries to challenge the system that Hinduism creates in India. So until then, this is Mr. Nissen signing off.